Hi, I am John Hoffman. I am the author of Getting to Healthy, Making the Transition to Eating Real Food, available on Amazon.com. In observing others struggling to lose weight, or at least not to gain weight, I see a familiar pattern: eating whatever foods they like whenever they want, especially throughout the evening hours, including fast food, junk food, and other calorie-dense and nutritionally deficient highly processed foods, and then panicking when they see their waistline growing and going on some kind of calorie-restrictive diet. Eventually, though, even if they lost a few pounds, they cannot tolerate starving themselves any longer, and they go back to eating whatever they want, whenever they want, and thus the cycle starts all over again. Our local news channel recently interviewed a dietitian on how viewers could keep from gaining COVID-19 related pounds from the decreased physical activity most people are experiencing from spending more time at home. Even this question itself sets up a false premise, since it reinforces the incorrect notion that weight gain in Americans is mostly due to a decrease in physical activity. As I showed in another video, you have to exercise nearly every day for 30 to 60 minutes at moderate intensity to start to see any appreciable weight loss, and 5 minutes of snacking can easily wipe out a whole hour of exercise. If that's the case, then what should you expect if you intermittently snack for 3 hours every night from dinner until bedtime? The advice given by this well-meaning dietitian for controlling your weight during the pandemic was to avoid eating for emotional reasons, such as eating for comfort, as a reward, or simply to break up boredom. While this is good advice, why focus on plugging up the tiny leaks in the boat, rather than the big gaping holes where water is gushing in? Weight gain has much more to do with what you are eating, and, as I showed in another video, when you are eating, than with how much physical activity you do around the house. If you could see the amount of food I eat every day at my 3 meals between the hours of 8 a.m. in the morning until about 6 p.m. at night, while still maintaining my weight, you would be shocked. You would probably conclude that I have a blessed metabolism. But that is not the case. Before I discovered healthy eating, I ate whatever I wanted and snacked throughout the evening hours until bedtime. My waist was 10 inches larger, and I weighed 50 pounds more than I do now, and I was still growing. The only thing that permanently reduced these measurements was changing what I ate, meaning changing over to a whole food, plant-based diet that excludes junk food, fast food, highly processed foods, and animal products. To my surprise, after my conversion, I noticed that I actually got to eat more food on this diet than when I was eating the standard American diet that included highly processed, calorie-dense foods. Instead of eating a small bowl of ice cream, for example, I get to eat 2 or 3 servings of whole fresh fruit, which tastes sweet as a dessert, now that my taste buds have adapted to eating real food. Moreover, I don't have intense hunger cravings throughout the day, as the fiber-rich whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds keep my energy level more constant and keep me going until my next meal. In fact, after dinner, I am so full that I do not even want to eat again until the next day at breakfast. So, stop thinking that dieting is the key to a healthier body weight and waistline. The real key is to eat a whole food, plant-based diet and restrict your eating to an 8 to 10 hour window earlier in the day. To help you make that conversion, read my book, Getting to Healthy, Making the Transition to Eating Real Food. It contains 147 daily articles which will help you stay motivated as you make the change. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.